Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Gospel of Two Wheels, where the coffee's hot, the bikes are fast, and your comments are thankfully very ridiculous. Let me turn this heater off because it's really loud for me at least. Hang on one second. All right, that's going to take a little bit to shut down, but let's see. Lance Frazier says, boys and water pump for 2020 KX250F. Is it a waste of money or a good upgrade? I get riding slow with Lance, I don't think that boys and water pump is going to help you much. Personally, I've installed. They're nice. They help flow a little more coolant. But the reality is a KX250F was never made to go slow, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. Probably the best thing you can do is some really, really good coolant. And then maybe a fan if you can run one on that. I'm not sure if that's got enough power on board to run it or not. CC Wright, working at a nuclear power plant right now. Right on. Hello from Bruce Power in Trippington, Ontario. Right on. Dave Brayman, Zach Farkash, Calvin Jones, Punk Rock Club, Smiley Hanson. What's happening, man? Guten Tag, Kim Jackson. Clownfish, what's up? Tom the Battle Axe. There you go. Tom the Battle Axe says, better buy a fan. The water pump, it's going to help, but it's not going to help that much. Scott Copland, Krusty One, Roger Hurd, Eric Bryan, Jameson Nygaard. What is all happening? Sorry, it's been a little while since I've done this. I'm a little out of practice. It's good to see you guys all here. There's a whole bunch of you watching, but not that many of you giving us a thumbs up. So back out of the chat. Give us a thumbs up, or my mom, Suzanne Spradling, who just chimed in, will kick your butt. So sorry, Llewellyn, what's happening? Yeah, Smiley Hanson, engine ice, absolutely good. Any good coolant will help a lot. Let's see. Oversized radiators are key if you're overheating. 4-stroke, there you go, Rocky Mountain. That definitely helps a lot. Anything to make the thing more efficient. But again, the reality is KX250Fs were never intended to go slow. That's part of the problem with that bike as a trail bike. I'm not saying get rid of the bike, but there's things. Oh, nice. Giovanni Coy Ramulta is coming in from the Philippines. Right on. I know we've talked about it, but are you anywhere near the Bataan Peninsula? Sandy Smith, what's happening? Yeah, Roger Hurd, there you go. Ride faster. I knew that was coming. Michael James coming in from Flagstaff. Hey, Dad, there's my dad, Scott Sprouting. Say hi to him, too. What is up, Robert Boucher, Teddy Roosevelt? How are you doing, man? I am doing well. You guys, a lot of people have been reaching out. Thank you so much. I am doing well. My shoulder is doing pretty darn well, considering how broken my collarbone was. A lot of you guys thought I'd never be able to walk again if I didn't have that shoulder fixed. It's actually doing really well. I go back in to check and make sure it's healing well here in another couple weeks, and we'll let you know. If it isn't good, then we're going to get it pinned then, but we're going to give it a shot because it's snowy, it's cold, and I am in no hurry to get back on that motorcycle yet because my leg hurts way worse than my shoulder right now. My blown up hamstring is brutal. Oh, it hurts so much. So, yeah, that's the thing that hurts the worst right now. So, but it is actually getting better, so that's good. Dave Kessler, what's happening? From Newport, Florida, right on. Zach Farkash. I thought I sent you a total on that, Zach. Check your emails. I think I sent you a total. I thought I did. I will check, Zach, and look. Maybe I didn't hit the send button. It was while we were coming back from the 1,000. Clownfish, thank you very much. Good morning. I'm going riding this weekend in California, a place called Spangler. Oh, right on. Spangler Hills. I have raced in Spangler Hills. That's a cool place. They do National Hare and Hound out there. Terry Webb, what's going down, man? I love you, dude. Recovery is important. Take the time. Been there myself. Yeah, dude. We are going to be taking our time. I got to use this time while you're broken to get a jump on next season, for sure. Garrett and I will be racing each other next season, so I get it. If you have it pinned in a couple weeks, they will have to re-break growth of Sabbath. Yeah, Sabbath Head, I know if they do, but whatever. I don't think I'm going to need to have it pinned because whatever. I'm not going to go over all of it. Jim Nash, what's going down with your tiny little legs? The AC joint, the thing that most people are worried about is like how far the AC joint is separated on that shoulder. That was done years ago. That was not from this crash. Like, that has not been there at all. Or it's been, the AC joint's been junk for a long time. And I've had bad shoulders a very long time. Let's see. I will, okay. Zach Farkash, I will get you an email. I don't know why. That's weird. But anyway, yeah, we'll get back there. Preston Rowe, what's happening? Are you by any chance related to Mike Rowe, Preston? Because I'm a big fan. Yeah, no, it's what am I saying? Anyway, so yeah, shoulder, we'll see. I have a lot of arthritis in both shoulders. A lot. I mean, my shoulders feel fine. I don't have the range of motion of a gymnast, but I have pretty freaking good range of motion, and without any, issues or pain or anything. So, yeah, we will see, and it's my decision, so don't worry about it. Anyone get a look at a photo of that rock that hit took you out? Myron, no, you can see it if you slow down the big video, the video I put up. If you slow it way down on a big screen, you can see it, and it's gnarly. John Head says Spangler, yeah. Oh, Preston Rowe, different family, yeah. Would be cool. Mike Rowe is the man. So anyway, we are here to talk about the Baja 1000. We just got back. Everything is good. I'm hurt, obviously, but I'm not that hurt. I could be a lot worse. Cade Walker, guys, say prayers for him and his family. He was on the 7X bike, crashed really bad. He still has not woken up from that crash. Yeah, it's a thing. I guess one thing I want to talk about, I just want to mention, or just maybe we could, I don't know if we want to talk it, is the fact that there's a lot of people yelling at Score about the problem with Cade and how he got hurt and other issues. And I'm sure there's always room to be better, right? For all of us, right? Better husband, better worker, better business owner, but right? There's always room to be a better person, a better organization. But Garrett Anderson heard Cade was awake. That's awesome. I have not heard. I haven't checked in on it. That's awesome. So, but he had a horrible crash, definitely a traumatic brain injury. He was out for a long, long time. And people were throwing a fit because they don't think Score did it enough. And it happened at night or after the sun went. It wasn't late, but the sun went down. It was only, I think it was like 6 o'clock or something like that. But the sun's down at 6. You know, it's wintertime. That's not that far south. Anyway, so they're not allowed to fly. The Mexican military does not allow anyone to fly anything at night. It has to do with drug cartels and whatever, but it's their rules, right? It's Mexico. We're racing in their country. You got to follow their rules. They don't have a lot of rules like this country. That's why they can have the Baja 1000. We could never have the Baja 1000 in this country because of all the Karens and people throwing a fit. And so their rules are their rules. We got to follow them. Also, I would like to mention that the very first rule of EMS is don't endanger anyone else. And to fly a helicopter at night in the desert where you don't know, was it 3:20 p.m., Hanson? Okay, I didn't know when it was. I heard, though, that by the time they figured things out, it was getting dark. And so that's good to know. And also, if they flew the helicopter in, was it going to get dark while they're down? I don't know. There's a lot of things to think about. And I'm not saying that they can't be better. But you absolutely have to consider the whole situation as you've got to rescue yourself. I just believe that. Like, you cannot rely. I got lucky. A helicopter showed up and picked me up. Uh, so it like, and but even though I got a helicopter right out of there, my guys were there before the helicopter showed up. Like, because my guys, my chase team, knew exactly where I was, exactly how to get to me. They knew all the access points, everything. Before we ever even raced that race, before I got on that bike, they knew every point where they could get to me in case something went wrong. And sure enough, it did go wrong, and they got there and got moving. And I'm not, Cade was in a very remote location, not a way, it's really, really hard. And at 3:20 p.m., the sun goes down, like I said, at 6. I don't know where the helicopter was. The thing is, helicopters, while they are fast and get to places really quickly, they can't, they're not instant. They like snap your finger and then snap it out, whatever. So, yeah, anyway, there's no way that anyone at SCORE wanted Cade to be hurt or for it to take longer than it did to get him out of there. That's not a thing. I do believe that SCORE is run by a guy. I don't really like the guy that owns SCORE right now. He focuses on trucks, and the whole thing has turned its focus away from motorcycles to four-wheeled stuff. I don't like that a lot, but it's it is what it is, right? We all signed the waiver. We all knew that when we threw our leg over the bike, that might be the last thing we did. And that's a big thing to think about, right? That's a huge thing to think about, is that this might be the last thing I do. Like, I'm getting on this thing, and it might be the last thing I do. But the reality is, we should think about that when we do anything. When you get up in the morning and walk out of the house. Nate Looney, what's happening? One of Eric, by the way, Eric Bryan, Nathan Looney, both watching right now. Those two guys, best chase crew on earth. They had, on earth, they had things so wired the whole time we were there. Anyway, so they're the best guys. And no, you can't use them. I will be using them. Quit bugging me. The logistics or having a helicopter in all locations, because that's the thing. Like, people want it to be quote unquote safer, whatever. A certain response time. And let me just say this. So my wife works for safety with the Forest Service. A lot of you guys have probably seen this on my post. She works on the national level. She works here. Her job, day-to-day job's here, but she works on the national level out of the Washington office on a bunch of big investigations, doing big stuff on big deaths and tragedies with the Forest Service. Bad. First of all, no firefighter, which is arguably a very, very dangerous job, Forest Service firefighter, which my wife has also done, considers a helicopter to be the first line of defense or the first safety thing. It's honestly way down the line because of how dangerous they are by themselves. Like, they're freaking dangerous. Like, helicopters are not the safest option all the time, right? And then what they've learned in all the issues with all the things that have happened and all the tragedies over all the years of fighting fire and doing a really dangerous job cutting trees, all the things that the Forest Service does. The safety is best when the people who are actually doing the activity bring it on themselves. You cannot legislate safety, just like you can't legislate your way out of a depression or a recession or morality or all the things that are being done right now. Like, you cannot force that from the top down. You have to absolutely take responsibility for it. And it's, that's why, the big money boys, they run a helicopter, but those helicopters also ground. And Smiley Hansen said that they may have been already grounded for the day at 3:20. And maybe that's because they look at the whole situation as like, well, if we get a call now and we got to go out there, because honestly, let's say it happened at 3:20 and the chopper gets there by, let's just say it gets there by 4. And that's a conservative estimate. I had a guy get hurt, my buddy, break his neck out in the Adobes, very close to town. We had cell phones, we had coverage, whatever. It took almost an hour to get a helicopter to us. just is not as fast as everyone wants to think. So, so anyway, let's say they get there at 4, and now they got to work on him because he's unconscious. He's, they got to do all kinds of things. So it's 5:30, and now it's getting dark, and now they can't fly. Then what do? You got a helicopter out there in the desert. So I don't know. There's a lot of things. So it's I don't know. It's a bummer. It's horrible. I hate it, but man, it's a dangerous freaking sport. We all need to look at that. If you don't like, my favorite thing, I put it in my post, is, Guy Martin said when someone was talking about how dangerous the Island TT is, he's like, well, if you don't like it, go home, cut your grass, and leave us to it. So it is what it is, man. Smiley Hansen, absolutely correct. It still has to fly to San Diego, then back into Baja. So that's the thing. And that's just, it's another thing let's talk about. It's a SCORE helicopter, so it's supposed to be on course doing things. And if it had to go to, anyway, it's a way bigger problem than, well, we should just have more people out there. Because if you wanted to have an hour, like let's just say you wanted to have help within an hour of that entire course, I cannot even fathom what that would cost. People are like, well, you pay all this money for entry. Yeah, I know, but what does a helicopter cost to have flying, or an ambulance crew? Tori Anderson might know. She's a nurse. An ambulance crew, dude, it's nuts. It's so it's crazy. And what Tori says, day or night, if conditions are not safe, increased winds or weather, they won't fly. Period. So yeah, it's Countershocks says lawn care is my passion. I love it. Oh, it's awesome. So yeah, I hate what happened to him. I hate what happened to me. I know other people that got hurt real bad this year, broken pelvises, all kinds of things. It's a rough ass course, a lot of attrition this year. So it was not the easiest thing. Roger heard the first side-by-side to go get him broke down. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, we all signed a waiver. And I think my personal belief is the best thing that SCORE could do right now, the very best thing that SCORE could do right now is up the amount of understanding for each team that you're on your own. Because, they have the waiver. No one looks, and everybody should know it, right? But young kids, Cave's a young kid. Like they're down there racing. They think they're invincible. I just think it needs to be, they just need to let people know. It's like, man, you're in it. Like, this is dangerous. So it's, the 4,000 to have an ambulance on standby for 2 days in a row. Yeah. Hanson. Yeah, absolutely. $4,000. And we've had ambulances on standby for little, enduro races. It's crazy. And it's crazy. Robert used to jump out of helicopters in air assault. Yeah. And that's the other thing. Actually, I had a guy from Fruita that raced this year. They did not finish. It was a burly race. But he had an idea. It was like, can you hire the Mexican military to do night rescues? Could we contract them? I don't know what that looks like. I have no clue. But, is that a possibility? I don't know, something to look at. That's the other thing. Flying at night, it's not like you can just fly any helicopter at night. You have to have night vision and all kinds of stuff to be able to safely fly at night. It's just the rules, we can't do it. It's like, dude, that is patently unsafe. Roger Heard, done 10,000, never had a bad crash. Yeah, I've done 4. I got 1 bad crash. It was not good. So anyway, I had a great time down there. Sadly, it ended with a big crash, but overall, we had a great race. The bike, the missing 5th gear, was gnarly. The bike finished. That's a hell of a lot to say. And we ended up 2nd, which was super cool. Thanks to everyone. Honestly, I think that Nathan and Eric have as much to do with getting that bike to the finish line as anyone else, because they got Travis to me so fast and so efficiently. If I hadn't had them and we hadn't had them on the team, there's no way. It would have been a massive shit show. Niels, what's happening, man? Roger heard, yes. Let's talk about tacos. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, just need to pay with Monster Energy and stickers. I know you might be able to do that. Christina Santana, what's happening? Would you find your commercial style motorcycle lifts? Mech Shark. So, those lifts, those are direct lift. Best lifts I've ever used. Really good. And they're crazy expensive, but they're not as expensive as some of the other ones. Dave Kessler, did we figure out why fifth gear quit working? Nah, it's got to be a bent shift fork. The shift fork, hey, Patrick Culkin, 720X, right on, dude. How's it going, man? Yeah, it's got to be a bent shift fork. When I got the bike, I don't know if it wasn't the first time I shifted to fifth, but it was somewhere early. I shifted to fifth, and sorry, I'm moving around a lot in my leg. God, it hurts. It bang shifted out. I'm like, oh boy. And then I thought, oh, okay, I missed a shift. That's no big. And then it just slowly got worse. And eventually I was going through a set of whoops when it just fell out of fifth and it would not go back in. It made horrible sounds when you try to shift it into fifth. Oh, it was bad. So then it was a slow bike, but it actually, at night, it wasn't that big a deal. I had a couple times when I was on the bike that I wanted more. But, it was a rough enough course. My section of the course was rough enough that it didn't affect me too terribly much. But, yeah, it sucks. And so Travis is going to take it apart here soon. Patrick Culligan, how did it go this year for you, man? How did your race go? Like I said, our race was epic. We overcame a lot because after I got hurt, went to the hospital. They tried to send me to La Paz for surgery. I was all drugged up and not knowing what the hell's going on. Nate and Eric came and got me out of there. Said, no, you're going home. And I'm like, yeah, we're going home. And so, but even after that, we had to go and get, fifth was like pulling in the clutch, Hanson. Fifth was like pulling in the clutch and also going, because it would just, it made horrible noises. So, we realized I still had the Spica, which is this personal tracker that has to go from person to person, because there's the Stella on the bike and there's a Spica that goes from rider to rider. And we still had that thing. We're like, oh crap, Travis had forgotten to get it off of me when I was laying there. So we had to haul ass, get back in front of the bike, get the Spica to Travis, and then we had to haul ass and get back and stay in front of the bike and get to Corey and give him a helmet light. So he had a helmet light for his night section. It was a hell of a thing. Roger Hurd rode 100 miles with a 125 stuck in fifth. Dude, that was gnarly. Fourth was just fine. Niels through his section. Yeah, by the way, Niels is on there. Smiley Hansen was on our team. So was Terry Webb. And it like that thing, if honestly fourth, there's only a couple times I wanted more, and it was not that big a deal, but I know there's other sections I'm sure it was a bummer, but I had it against the rev limiter a little bit for one of my sections, because I had this graded gravel road that was just like flat straight for like 7 miles, and I'm like, I knew it like the back of my hands, like there's nothing out here, so I just pinned it, and that's actually where I was able to catch up to and pass 441X for first place, and get past him, because our bike, despite the fifth gear thing, was working good and running good. It would do about 72-ish miles an hour in fourth. Dude, there's a ton of you guys watching and only 51 thumbs ups. So if you're watching this right now, back out of the chat, give a thumbs up, and then come back in. It does really help us out a lot. Gary Dixon, yes, it's a Yamaha. It will be fine. Absolutely. Oh yeah, oh, yeah. Quit bugging me. This is all while you were in my underwear. Yes, and so quick story about the 1,000 and the whole thing and how I didn't want to take my big red van because it's a billboard showing how much money's probably inside and all that good stuff. I was really like, I don't know about taking that down there. I was going to take my white van, but when we ended up with 3 of us, I was like, we just don't have the room. So we took the red van. It turned out to be the very best decision ever because we looked like a pro team and they literally waved us through every checkpoint. We never got checked for anything. They're like, they some locals would pull up in front of us to a military check and they'd open the doors, start peeling everybody out of it, yanking door panels apart, and they look at us and just wave us around. It was awesome. So take the billboard if you can, and if you can't, you got to keep someone with it. Fortunately, with 3 of us, there was always someone with the van, unless we were sleeping, and then when we were sleeping, we had it in a nice hotel with an enclosed courtyard and all that stuff. So it worked out great. And then on the way back, this is to the underwear comment, we were coming across the U.S. border as we were trying to get to Yuma, and I've been laying in the back of this thing in pain for hours, and these poor dudes have been driving and up for 30 plus hours, and we're just like tired. It's been a nightmare. We get to the border. We go through the wrong line at the border because, well, whatever. We just go through the wrong line, and the American agent comes up. He's like, what's going on? You guys are in the wrong thing. Do you have there's something you're supposed to have because it's like a commuter lane? And we're like, no. He's like, all right, you guys got to get out. And they're like, well, what about him? And there I am. I'm in my underwear, no shirt, no pants, got this huge like cast thing on my leg. And I'm like, yeah, what about me? And he's like, well, can you get out? I'm like, I don't know. I can't stand up. No. And they're like, well, what? And I'm like, yeah. And like, what happened to you? I'm like, I crashed my motorcycle on the Baja 1000. Oh. And it's like almost like they didn't even notice the 1,000 was going on. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, come on. There's got to be 1 billion people coming across this border. So anyway, they're looking at, they pull Nate and Eric out, put them in a room so they can't see, and they come back and they open the side door, and there I am, and they're like, and the guy's like, what happened? I'm like, I was doing this, it crashes, and he's like, oh my god. And so I was like, yeah, yeah, man, I can't get out, I can't stand up, and like, all right, so he like shines the flashlight around, opens the back door, shines the flashlight on, he's like, all right, go. If I hadn't been hurt, maybe that's the God moment here, is that I got hurt so that we could get back across the border without issue. Because if I hadn't been hurt, dude, they were going to rip everything out of there. I know it. They would have all the bags, everything. Because, like I said, we went to the wrong lane, like the express lane, even though we didn't have the express thing. I'm just sure it would have been a nightmare. So, yeah, it was hilarious. Zach, we will talk to you soon. What other questions you guys have about the 1,000 or anything else motorcycle related? Sorry if I missed I'm sure I missed a bunch of comments, guys. I apologize. You guys are commenting a lot. Let me see if I can go back here and see if there's anything that I missed. Oh, maybe not. Eric Brian says, I gotta say this is for Ruth and for anybody else. The pumpkin pie is like a vehicle for whipped cream. We had pumpkin pie at my house when we got back. It was awesome. Jared Bayless, did I read it right? The boys are racing Baja next. I don't think they're going to race next year, but they are going to race it very soon. I'm hoping that they're going to. I'm hoping that 2 years from now we're going to do it. Daniel Northington, yes. Hopefully 2 years the boys and I are going to do a family team. This next year I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be Century Lane. Yeah, the lane could be expensive. Yeah, it could have been very expensive. Smiley Hansen. It was a Century, dude, and they were not happy, but it was awesome. Northington, how are you, man? Good to see you. Scott Miller, I had a little bit of fog. Not bad, thank goodness. that side, that Pacific Ocean side, it was warm. The weather was warm, keeping it less foggy. I did have some with some dust, and it's like seriously like going along, and then all of a sudden someone pulls a sheet over your face. It's like lights out right now. It's actually lights on in your face because it's just reflecting. But it wasn't bad. I got really lucky. Quick question for Rose. Can you take more than one bike to Mexico without a lot of hassle? David, it was no big deal for us. We had 3 in the back of the van. You just need to make sure you have registration for all of them. We got luck, like I said, with that big shiny van, they just and pushed us through, and like it was good. But yes, it's not too big of a deal, but you need to have registration for all of them. So and titles and all that crap, copies of the titles and stuff. Jared, right on. You're going to build a team also. Royal, Randy, nice. I like it. Yeah, we're like I said, next year is a loop race. So I'm not as interested in loop races as I am point to points down there. I've never done a loop race. I mean, I'll do it. It'd be cool. But we be racing. Am I planning for next year already? Absolutely, 100%. Oh yeah, insurance. There you go, Liz. So yes, back to Dave's question. You need to make sure you have Mexican insurance. I cannot recommend Baja bound insurance any higher. Super easy. Do it all online. Get all your papers. It's just simple. So yeah, use Baja bound insurance. They're great. People are like, oh, it's kind of expensive. I'm like, well, if your crap gets stolen, you won't think it's expensive. So, so Jared, yeah, that's awesome. You're planning on racing. The thing about Baja is it requires a level of maturity. It requires a level of maturity. And I don't think my kids have that yet. Like I love them. They're fast. They're clean riders. They do well, but there's it's a level of maturity that you need. Obviously it still bit my ass, and I feel like I'm a relatively mature individual when it comes to racing, but quit bugging me, old fat guys. If I want to, we're talking about a thing. I won't mention it yet. You guys should make sure you stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, because there may be some really cool stuff coming down with Quit Bugging Me. Working on a team for next year. We'll see. Same thing. I forgot to take an orange I forgot to take an orange out of the cooler. Oh, it's gnarly. Yeah, Scott Miller is crazy. The north was super wet. Like it got rain. Like it was nuts. I pulled in the secondary once, and everyone was pulled out. They had us in detention room, threatened to take the truck. They found a seat. She yelled at me at Clownfish. That's what I'm saying, dude. We got so lucky that I was hurt. And Tom Battle Axe, I will take the leg pain over that for sure. The Sandy Smith, have him do a 500 race first. Yeah, absolutely. Or a 250 or something else. Derek, Elaine, how did your team end up choosing that WR? Well, we were given that WR 450. It was a sponsored bike by Ryan Liebelt. Ryan Liebelt built that bike. Travis knows Ryan really well. Ryan, it was the champ last year's 400X bike. So, anyway, that's how we got it. Have you ever been to or considered racing the Odessa Desert 100? Early April, Odessa, Washington. I've heard about that, Jay Riggs, and I haven't really considered it just because early April is crazy busy here. I don't usually leave our area in March and April because it is so stinking busy. And that's a long way. Washington's a long way. I did that last year for summer trip, and yeah, it's just a long stinking way to go. But I would love to do it if I had time. It would be super cool. I've heard it's a great race. But yeah, I'm going to get the kids out to a National Hare and Hound before they get to do any kind of Mexico thing, which is it's different than Mexico for sure, but still a big, long desert race, and see if I can get them, a 100-mile race so that they can feel what that's like. And yeah, kids, they're fired up. Like when I had the first thing, like boy Thomas said when I walked in the door, was like, Dad, I have a plan. Next year, I solo, you support me, and then the year after we'll do a team. I'm like, it's a great idea. First of all, it's very expensive. I don't know about that, but and then also, like you're not ready. I love you. You're 17. You're full of piss and vinegar. I love that very much, but again, it's a maturity thing to solo. So show up next year for the D100. We were there every year. Also, AZ. Yeah, Dan North. I hear you. Yeah, the February Arizona thing is definitely going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to be. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be there when you're there in February because my kids have a week off earlier in February, I think, or later in February. I don't know. Dan, we'll figure it out. We'll get together, and I'd love to go to the D100. Smiley Hansen, NHHA this year. Yeah, I'd like to get them there. I'd like to see what their schedules are. I don't think I'm going to be racing in January. I don't think I'm going to be quite healed up yet, but I'd love to get them on there. So, but to like the Lucerne race, I'm not sure. There we go. Niels, that's a cool South African buddy. Said called him last night. Wants to put a 1,000 team together. Yeah, it's nuts. That's awesome, man. Yeah, bring rain to Arizona. I always do. I always do. Dislocated 778, duct taped it to the finish of the podium. Yeah, right on, Patrick. Nice work, dude. Heck yeah, dude. And Roger Hurd, I will pick you up for the NHHA if we come. And I might wait and take them to the Cherry Creek in Utah. It's a lot closer and less of a gnarly second loop. Like I think both boys could ride those second loops. Maybe, I don't know. Some of those second loops are gnarly. I don't know. Both of those kids are badasses, but the second loop of the Cherry Creek is really good. Tony Andrews, what's happening, man? Tony Andrews, I will let you know about the AZ situation. Let's see, try the northern Arizona area. We have cool single track in Prescott. Clownfish, yeah, I will get to the Prescott area. That's where my buddy Roger lives, and I need to get there and ride. I've ridden the Phoenix area quite a bit, like that mile markers area. Dan North, or Mr. Northington, is going to be going to the Cave Creek area, which I have not actually ridden, and I'd like to. So we'll see. Lots going on. Like I said, I'm beat to crap right now, so I'm not really thinking about riding. Christian Mills, what are we doing on the 950? We are revalving suspension, making the suspension work really good. Chris B, have your boy Iron Man the 24 Hours of Glen Helen. Yeah, that would be a good one. I don't know. I mean, that's another huge race. I kind of wanted to ease him into something a little not so big, like the Gutbuster in Texas, or I don't know. We'll see. But we got a lot of plans for this next year because those boys are fired up about racing. My younger boy is so fired up. He's fired up about racing and every other thing, like shooting things. He likes to shoot and eat things a lot. He got a buck. He likes to shoot doves every day. He wants to shoot everything on Earth and kill it and eat it. So he's got to make some decisions. So let's run a 24-hour event with the team first. Good luck. Yeah, 100% Tom the Battle Axe. Garen Bankowski, thank you very much. Maybe if Corks did the 12-hour. Yeah. We'll get them in. I'm going to get them into something that sucks. The other thing I've thought about having them do is Vegas to Reno as a team. Have them, the two of them, and I'll just support them and have them do Vegas to Reno on a team. And so, yeah. Jeff Egbert, lifelong two-stroke right here. Why are four-strokes the engine of choice for endurance races? What about a big bore two-stroke? Jeff Egbert, the biggest thing is gas mileage and longevity of just holding it like two strokes don't like to do that very much. I mean, they will, but it's just not as good. That's the other thing. I really want to race a two-stroke in Mexico. I really want to work with TSP, Two-Stroke Performance, on building a badass oil-injected two-stroke so that you could just pit with normal gas. That's the other thing, Jeff, is that pits in those things are hard to get two-stroke gas because most pit companies that help support those things don't have two-stroke gas. So if you want two-stroke gas, you got to provide at least oil, and you can do it. It's doable. I talked to a guy online. He last year they did a class. They won a class championship or something like that on a two-stroke with mixed gas, but they must have deep pockets or deeper pockets because they had to go to Baja pits, give them a bunch of money, give them a bunch of two-stroke gas, and then they took and then you got to make sure they put that gas in your bike. So I think the oil-injected two-stroke, even though it's not my favorite system, I like mixing gas, would be the way to go. Put a dry brake on the thing, they dump normal gas in it, top off the oil reservoir every now and then, you'd be good to go. So yeah, the Dustin Davis, is that who did it? Garrett Anderson? So yeah, it's doable. I mean, obviously, back in the old days, when Roger was racing, he's on a 125. They were mixing gas the whole way on a KX 125. Danny Hamill won the damn thing, I don't know how many times, with Larry Rossler and all those guys on KX 500s with mixed gas. But the industry has just gone away from that, sadly. My other thing my younger boy wants to do is he wants me to build a BRC 500 and then race that. And I'm like, dude, a 300 two-stroke is all the horsepower you need for the Baja 1000. You do not need more than that. As long as the bike will do, I mean, realistically, if you want to really do well, you need to be able to do about 100 you don't probably go 100 very often or maybe at all, but if the bike will do it, then you know that it'll hold up for the 70, 80 mile an hour outside. Tom Back, you could probably do all 1,000 miles on a TPI. Yeah, you probably can on the whole a whole TPI oil tank, except that I want to work with Two-Stroke Performance to build a map that will dump way more oil to make sure the motor is getting lubed. I mean, it might be just fine stock oiling, but I would be leaning towards being extra careful so that you don't burn a motor up out there. Not so much, I mean, obviously the money would be a huge, massive bummer to lose a bike out there, but then if you break way out in the middle of nowhere, it's not good. Garrett Anderson, I'll let you and race my YZ for a Weeby race Kira's horsepower needs. Oh, dude, he is already... So he rode my brother-in-law's YZ250 on Thanksgiving Day, and all he can think about is more horsepower. He freaking rode, and I guess he rode the crap out of it. I obviously wasn't there, but yeah. And Roger Hurd, I think we should all race 125s. I'd love to race a 125 in Mexico just to do it. Again, these days, man, you'd definitely have to pit mixed gas because there's no Robert Boucher. I know my pipe is dented. But yeah, it would be that would be so much fun. All right, guys, it's 8:15. I got a boogie because I got to get another cup of coffee before I start this day. We got so much to do, and I'm about quarter speed on doing any kind of work. So I love you guys so much. The ERM for the TBI should be available very soon, Scott Coughlin. Yeah, we're gonna get one. We're slated to get one early and do some testing. So anyway, Punk Rock Club, I love you guys the most. PRC, you guys are the best. You are my favorite people on the whole planet. I love you more than everyone else. Guys, thank you so much for all the support for Baja. Sorry that we crashed, but we did kick ass. Again, Nathan Looney, Eric Bryan, keys to that race continuing. Anyone says anything different, they're crazy. Obviously, the whole team came together, picked up the pieces after I screwed up, and got things to the finish line. But those two are amazing. Thank you guys so much. I love you so much. If I had giant piles of money, I'd give it to you, but I don't. So anyway, I love you so much. Let's talk soon about racing. Yeah, have a great day. Spread the gospel of two wheels. And as always, I desperately hope that what we are doing here at Highland Cycles is inspiring you guys to work on, but way, way, way more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes!